It is after 3 o'clock on my day off, and I have not accomplished shit. Like, I'm so annoyed with myself. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to record, because I've been trying to record I've tried to plan ahead to record something, right? And for some reason, whenever I try to do that, it just like it doesn't work out for me. Like, I'm gonna have to figure it out, because that seems to just be like a block if I try to like go through books and like pull statistics and like that kind of stuff. If I try to make like a well-informed, not just my opinion type video, it just doesn't go. Like, it doesn't flow. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel like shit. It's my time of the month, right? And I'm just like, ugh. So I thought that we would kind of just hang out, and I would read some comments and we just kind of talk about that. So let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna just pick a couple comments from my last two uploads. So this one says, it's from Matthew Carlson 3408. It says, the damage done by 12-step in my life is real. The way I see it is the problem is complicated, but in the simplest form, any mode where a person is taught to doubt their own faculties of discernment is dangerous. The brainwashing and conditioning really did a number on me. And dude, same. And that's the thing, is like, when I was in 12-step, I was taught to not trust myself, right? And I was taught that, like, and it's so funny because I'll have 12-steppers be like, they'll be like, you guys just don't want to take accountability for anything, blah, 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 blah. You guys are so wimpy nowadays, blah, blah, blah. But to me, it's like, when I was in 12-step, I took less accountability for my actions than I do now. Because back then it was like, oh, well, I suffer from a spiritual malady, and like, you know, some are sicker than others type, like, oh, I'm just a sick addict alcoholic mentality is what I had. You know, like, I am this way, like, I have these character defects, like, I have to pray to ask God to remove them. But it's like, once I didn't have the excuse of, well, you know, I have this allergy and I suffer from this spiritual malady, it was like, okay, well, why the fuck do I do these crazy things that I do? Like, I was finally able to, once I left, right, I was finally able to pull back the layers of who I actually was and what my root issues were. Because my root issues weren't that I, you know, had this allergy and this spiritual malady. You know, I keep saying that, but when you're in the rooms, that is what you're told, right? Sorry, I was kind of going off there, but like you said, you know, the brainwashing and the conditioning really did a number on you. Absolutely. Because then when you're like, okay, like, I don't really think this is working, like, I keep trying and like this is just not working for me. But then you're like, well, that's your disease talking to you. That's your disease trying to get you back out there to quit the program. And it's like, well, I don't really think, you know, you like have this internal, or at least I did, I don't know how everyone was, but like I had this like internal fight of what is the right answer, because I've been trying this way for years and years and years, and I keep ending up with a needle in my arm. So, you know, I'm taking all the suggestions. Yes, in the beginning, I didn't want to get sober. Like, my family was forcing me. So the first, you know, few rehabs, I'll give it a pass, because I truly still wanted to use. So of course it didn't work, right? But what about when I finally got desperate enough and I really did want it to work? What then? You know, because I was giving it my all. I was surrendering. I was taking all the suggestions. I was getting to the meeting there early to help set up. I was staying late to help break it down. I was getting sponsees. I was taking other women through the book. I was going to commitments. I was driving women to, you know, picking up women and taking them to meetings and other commitments. I was doing everything that I could possibly do, because each time that I would go back out, right, and then I would come back, I would add something else to my plate, because it was always that I had to have not been doing enough. Like, I had to have not been giving enough to this simple program, right? So you end up in this circle, like just pushing all common sense out the way, because you are so brainwashed, conditioned to believe that anything that your mind says negative about the program, that's your disease trying to take you out, right? It's crazy. All right, let's read one more from this one. It says, Tara, thank you. You're not going to believe this. I'm a subscriber of yours and was looking. Oh, and this is from Last Green Man. Sorry. Tara, thank you. You are not going to believe this. I'm a subscriber of yours and was looking for new deprogramming from AA videos. And guess what? Your new video just appeared within minutes of you uploading. It was the higher power, right? LOL. That's funny. I'm 23 months in AA in abstinence hell, and I'm now on the Sinclair method, and it actually works. Anyway, thank you for keep going with this. You're helping a lot of people. I sincerely hope the whole fascist 12-step garbage begins to implode worldwide. Me too. Me too. So let me, for those of you who don't know, I just know that the Sinclair method has to do with naltrexone, and that's all I really know. So let's read real quickly what the Sinclair method is. The Sinclair method for alcohol use disorders is an evidence-based treatment for problematic drinking developed by Dr. John D. Sinclair. Unlike traditional treatments that require complete abstinence from alcohol, the Sinclair method allows you to continue drinking alcohol at the beginning of treatment. In fact, treatment success depends on the continued consumption of alcohol in the combination with the prescription medication naltrexone. Naltrexone is at the heart of the Sinclair method for alcoholism. When you take naltrexone prior to drinking, it blocks endorphins, the naturally occurring opiates in the brain, from being released when alcohol is consumed. Sorry, I read that really weird. So basically, when you take naltrexone before you drink, it naturally blocks the endorphins that like your brain releases from when you drink, right? When the endorphins are blocked, there is no buzz or rewarding experience, and the alcohol doesn't make you feel the pleasure that drives you to drink excessively. Over time, your brain learns not to associate alcohol with pleasure, resulting in reduced cravings and improved control over alcohol use. Naltrexone must be taken at least 1 hour before you drink, and then it goes on. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, please look it up. But it is an evidence-based treatment, which means there's a lot of evidence that shows that it works, right? We have a lot of clinical data and studies to show that it is an effective way to treat your alcohol use disorder. So congratulations to you. I'm so happy that that's working for you. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to learn more about it and talk to other people about it on here. Okay, so let's get another comment from another video here. This is fun. I actually like doing this. This one is from Tony7454. Thank you, Tara. It is so important that there is more awareness out there. Very simply, if it worked, it would be working. Abso-fucking-lutely. The danger of the you'll pick up where you left off is so incredibly dangerous. I fell for that and used with destructive intention. Same. I was simply using substances to self-medicate mental illness and trauma, and then subsequently the trauma from the treatment centers and the program. 16 years in and out of their rooms in the treatment centers, I know exactly what to say to 12-steppers when confronted with the rhetoric every single time. I know. I make a logical point. I can see it actually making sense for a moment. But the pull of the group hysteria is powerful. Oh, I know. I'm meeting young girls of 20. I know. I need to stop like commenting as I'm reading this. I'm sorry. I'm meeting young girls of 20 thrown into treatment centers, the same ones I went to. They are calling themselves addicts, ingraining it into their identity before their brains are even fully formed. Ugh. Another way needs to be presented, as well as the scientific-based evidence around addiction and trauma we have in 2024. Oh my goodness, absolutely, dude. Like there is so much to unpack here. But you know, every single time that I, like, especially when I was going in and out of treatment centers, right? Like there was a block of my 20s where it was just like a revolving door of in and out with 1.5 years of prison in the middle of it, right? And I'm going in and out of all of these places, and every time that I pick up, it's always like a big dramatic ass thing, or especially in the beginning, right? Because I was so conditioned to believe that once I put something in my body, I wasn't going to be able to stop, and that it was going to be worse than the last time. And every single time it was worse than the last time, right? And then I got to a point where it wasn't like that anymore, but it was because I had finally, stopped buying into all of the dogma and the bullshit that they were teaching me in there. Like, it really does set you up for failure. Now, is it that way for everyone? No. But is that way for a lot of us? Yes, a lot of us have that same story. A lot of us that were in a lot of treatment centers, that went to a lot of programs and went to a lot of just, like the treatment centers, the sober living, all of that shit, who really just got stuck in that cycle of going in and out. We became so indoctrinated. I feel like those of us who went to a lot of treatment and did like a lot of the sober livings and stuff, we are really the ones that get sucked into that system more so than anyone else, because we have it shoved down our throat the most, right? Because then our families are going to the little family groups that they have at the treatment centers, and they're being shoved the 12-step shit down their throat. So you're having it from all angles. You're having it from, because obviously all your friends now belong to 12-step groups, so you have it from your family, you have it from your inner circle, you have it from the place that you're staying, whether it's the treatment center or the sober living. Like, it is just, it's a lot. And I have been trying to make a video about, I think I did make one, but I think it might be on TikTok, and it was like a while ago, and I just touched on it a little bit, or it might have been on YouTube. I can't remember. And if I did talk about it, I only touched on it a tiny bit. But how some of the places that I went to, you had young people there, right? And it was just some kids that had been caught drinking or smoking weed by their parents, and now all of a sudden they're in treatment, and the treatment centers take them because it's a bed filled, right? And a lot of these parents have some great insurance or are willing to pay, especially when in the beginning, when I went to a lot of like private pay, like you have to pay places in the beginning, there were a lot of kids there. I saw less kids in the state funded places, but in the private places that I went to in the beginning, there were so many young people there that had no fucking business being there. With so much of the brainwashing that I experienced when I was in the rooms and in and out of programs, a lot of it was like, oh, like, you're an addict. Yep, typical addict behavior. That's how addicts are. Like, addicts were all grouped into this one type of person, right? And all addicts are the same type mentality. And especially when you're working a 12-step program, you really have to preach that narrative to make a one-size-fits-all program work, right? We have to all be the same so that the same thing works for all of us. But later, when you start to do the work and you start to peel back all of those layers, you see the unique things that make you who you are, and why you had the experience with drugs and alcohol that you have, and why you self-medicate and what you're self-medicating. Like, those are really important things to find out, because that is how you get better, Like, if I was still just chalking it all up to, well, I'm just an addict, and not that, hey, I'm a chick with extremely low self-esteem who has horrible unmedicated, like, I am raw dogging the fuck out of my ADHD, like, and those are two huge things in my life that really affect me. Like, learning how to, like, I'm still learning and still working on it, but having the the knowledge to know that those are the areas I need to work on, versus just sitting here asking God to remove my selfishness, is living a totally different lifestyle. And one was not productive for me and just kept me stuck. And then the other one, the one that the lifestyle that I'm living now is helping me to, well, I hope, is going to help me to achieve the things that I want to achieve, And this is like the people that the program works for you. Like, I'm so happy for you, truly. But please understand that this program has destroyed some of us. It has completely taken our little bit of self-worth that we had, crumpled it up in a ball, and then just dropped it, right? And that's how it was. It's like I was this crumpled ball when I was in the program, but at least I had all these people and, institutions that supported me. And then once I left, I was just this, crumpled ball left on the floor, and I've been trying to iron out all of these fucking wrinkles. You know, it's like, I don't know, like, I just wish that people would understand, like, yes, I get it, the program works for you, it works for so many people, it saves so many lives, but we have to talk about the dark side because of the lives that it has destroyed. At least some of us are still left here to talk about it. There are people that are in a cemetery who are never going to get the chance to share their experience, their soul ruining experience in their rooms, because they died before they got to tell it, because we're told to, we're not supposed to say anything negative about the program. Well, those days are long gone, and more people are speaking out about it. And it's important because people need to understand that they're so far from alone. You know, they literally tell you to fake it until you make it in the program, right? So you're sitting there faking it, just waiting for, you know, these promises and these things to happen. And the fact of the matter is, it's never gonna fucking happen for you because the program is not working for you. You know, if you've been trying for years and years and years, and I feel bad sometimes because, you know, you'll hear people be like, you know, it's their 17th time trying it, and you hear them say, oh, something feels different this time, and they're just trying to convince themselves that this time it's gonna fucking work. And like, it kills me, man, because you don't have to try to make a program work for you that you know doesn't work. There's so many other ways to live life after addiction, but we've just been so brainwashed to believe that it's such a dangerous world out there that we set our own selves up for failure because we believe all that bullshit, you know? Anyways, I know a couple people asked about the bingo card, so I will put a little link, and you guys can, I'll put it in the comments, like give me a day or so, and or maybe I'll even try to do it today. But I will also post it on the community tab when I do it, and you guys can just click on it and print it at home or screenshot it, however you want to do it. Because yeah, please take it, share it, do whatever you want with it. It's you know, those are the common responses that we get. So yeah, anyways, I had fun hanging out with you and just kind of word vomiting per usual, and I'll see you guys again soon.